I just gave the introduction. Thank you for coming to our studio, Alex. I was talking about the new report that you conducted. It's a very interesting report. It's very different than the others. And we have Turkey and the United States. That's all I'm worried about. No, I'm kidding. But I want to ask you, first of all, what is this report? I read that this is the Eurozone contagion. You tested the non-Eurozone countries. Which ones are going to be most impacted and affected? Am I right?
Right. Basically, we've all heard a lot about the euro crisis in these last few months and what would happen if Greece and maybe other countries were to suddenly exit unexpectedly or somewhat chaotically. And lots of economists have said that it would be this sort of cataclysmic event that we don't really know the full results of. But what we tried to do was basically rank the countries that were most connected to the Eurozone. These would be non-Eurozone countries.
Non-Eurozone OECD countries or any countries?
Some of them are OECD countries and a handful of others. We have Brazil, Panama, and Taiwan as the non-OECD countries. And basically, the group of countries comes from the Bank of International Settlements in Basel, which is sort of the central bank for central banks in the world. And they have data on these specific countries. And so what we tried to do was basically look at the connection of these countries to the Eurozone in a very broad kind of macro sense.
What are the criterion? I mean, now I'm sure my producers are going to show the Eurozone contagion chart, and I see Sweden as the first country to be impacted. And what are the criterions that you use in terms of ranking all of them? Turkey is number 6, United States is number 9, but what is the rationale, the calculations behind it?
It's basically simply two criteria. We looked at total trade that these countries have with the Eurozone as a percent of their GDP, and we looked at banks' exposure to the Eurozone as a percentage of GDP. And the reason we did this was because we wanted to look at, as I said, sort of a broad macro view of these countries in sort of the most widespread fashion. And of course, with the Eurozone breakup, if the euro were to suddenly fail and a country were to leave, there would be all kinds of importers and exporters with contracts designated in euros who would then not know how to be paid, or there was all this uncertainty. So we figured trade was just a broad general way to measure the connection.
And where is that trade number coming from?
The trade number comes from the UN Statistics Department, and the latest available data from the UN is from 2010.
2010,
exactly.
Okay. And the bank's exposure to the Eurozone is a percentage of the GDP.
Exactly.
Where does that come from?
That comes from the Bank of International Settlements.
Okay, shall we look at the countries then? So it's from Bank of Settlements, you said, right? And,
exactly.
And also Bank of International Settlements and IMF?
Yes, the IMF was used for some calculation of GDP.
So Sweden has the highest score.
It does. Sweden, as you can see, is both the most connected in terms of trade at 40% of GDP.
40% that they have total trade.
Exactly,
is it import and export, or is it both?
It's import and export, goods and services. So
Turkey
it's total trade.
Is 13%.
Turkey is 13%.
And the United States comes later at 3.9%.
Right.
So Turkey is number 6, Sweden number 1, Switzerland number 2, Denmark, United Kingdom, and Taiwan. Interesting combination.
Right. I mean, you see in general at the top of those top 4 countries or so, or even the whole table, that I guess what's not so surprising is that connectivity or exposure to the Eurozone largely correlates with geography.
Geography, because Sweden is close to Europe, Switzerland, Denmark, UK, Turkey. But how about Taiwan? Taiwan is before Turkey.
Right. Taiwan
is number 5.
It's a little strange to see Taiwan up there, but then when you realize that Taiwan has had probably a more developed economy than Turkey for some time, has more connection with the West, and Turkey, of course, has a lot of trade with not just Europe, but with other partners to the east, like Iran,
Could it
Iraq.
be the electronics, too, that coming from Taiwan?
I mean, exactly. Taiwan is an advanced economy.
So Turkey has to surpass. Let's see. Shall we go back to the next chart, which is the biggest importers from the Eurozone, the biggest exporters to the Eurozone, and I see Turkey as number 5 in both of these charts. Imports from Eurozone as percentage of GDP and exports.
Exactly.
I thought Turkey was exporting more than importing from Eurozone.
Well,
no?
Turkey does export probably more in terms of the aggregate amount, in terms of the dollar amount, but this would be Turkey's, the percentage of their imports come from the Eurozone is 7.5, and the percentage of their exports to the Eurozone is 5.6%. But you're right. Turkey exports a lot of apparel, foodstuffs, textiles to the Eurozone. Their primary trade partners in the Eurozone are Germany, Italy, France. But of course, it has other countries to the east, as I mentioned.
And again,
before.
this data is from 2010.
Exactly.
It could have been increased by 2012.
It could have a bit, but it
gives us a percent.
Sort of a broad range, and those wide-ranging countrywide statistics from the UN don't come out every year. So 2010 is the latest comprehensive survey.
And United States is the 11th country in terms of one of the biggest importers from the Eurozone.
Yes.
And it's the 9th exporter. So they export more than they import.
Right. And another sort of surprise that people may not know is that despite the fact that the United States economy is so global and globalized, and that the U.S. is the biggest trader overall in terms of total dollars, a relatively small percentage of the U.S. economy is traded. Something like around 25% of GDP. People often assume that the U.S. trades a lot more, exports and imports more, but the fact is the majority of goods and services made in the U.S. are actually consumed here.
Yes, and I come to the last one. This is the stress test. I don't know if my producers are showing, but this is the most interesting. I left it to the last. You put 77 countries through a stress test and discovered that life is the toughest in South Africa, easiest in Luxembourg.
Right.
How about Turkey? And by the way, you took what? Annual homicide rate?
Right.
GDP per capita? Income inequality, corruption score, unemployment rate, urban outdoor air pollution, and life expectancy. These are your criteria.
These are our criteria because, as any mental health expert will say, that the common factors that increase stress are things like money, job security, relationships are one, which are a bit hard to quantify.
Right.
Crime rates and health. So we believed that these 7 categories, again, represented sort of a broad proxy for these kinds of factors.
Alex, last 10 seconds, my producer is telling me, where is Turkey in this stress
Turkey
test?
is the 34th most stressful country to live in, which is not that bad.
And United States is?
United States is quite low. 57th, out of 77.
So we need to clean our air, increase the GDP, and decrease the income inequality. Is that right?
Exactly. Turkey will move up the table.
Well, we need to invite you again. Our time is up here right now, but this was it was a very interesting test. Evet, stres testiyle bitiriyoruz. Çok enteresan bir testti.